Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Egal. I'm back again with another video, and let me just begin by saying Happy New Year's to everybody, every single one of you guys watching. Big up to all you guys watching. And you know what? Today I'm going to be talking about a bunch of stuff involving the NBA. And you know that I love football and I love Arsenal, but just as much as I love Arsenal, I love the Toronto Raptors and I love watching the NBA. So you guys know I've always thought to involve both Arsenal and my love for the Raptors together on one channel, and I'll be covering as much basketball as I can. Maybe not as much as I will be covering the football, because of course Arsenal, it takes up a lot of my time on the channel, and there's a lot of my content goes to the people who like Arsenal and the people who like football. But this is for the people who like supporting me, supporting the channel, and also like a little bit of NBA and like something different besides just football all the time. So I just thought maybe switch it up a little bit and throw some new shows together and do this. So this is my first video. I'll be talking about a lot of stuff today. First, I'll be talking about the season, what I think about what's been going on so far in week one. Who you guys already know who won the players of the week in the East and the West. In the East, it was Sabonis. Sabonis was balling out for the Indiana Pacers, and you had on the West, you had Brandon Ingram doing his thing for the New Orleans Pelicans, right? And then also we'll get into the rookies. We had some guys like Wiseman looking good. We had some young guys like LaMelo Ball looking a little bit, you know what I mean? And then there's also other guys in the cut. We just don't know what they're going to be doing. And we had a surprise. That kid in Sacramento looks like a baller. I'm loving that kid in Sacramento. I forget his name right now off the top of my head, but we'll look at the draft and we'll look at who looks like a steal right now, who looks like another steal. In addition to that, the way they're scheduling the games in the NBA, I'm loving it, because if you guys haven't seen it, it's almost like a mini playoff series. You play back-to-back games. You have Indiana facing Boston, two games back to back. So first game, Boston wins. Next game, Indiana wins. And it's almost like a playoff style. And then you have games like what happened with Milwaukee and the Bucks, and the Bucks and Miami. So the first game, Miami get destroyed by the Bucks. The Bucks absolutely whopped them, slapped them up. Next thing you know, with no Jimmy Butler, they go to and beat Milwaukee the following night. And to me, this is the beauty of the NBA. There's 72-game season this year. It's not an 82-game season like it usually was. So you don't have as much craziness and as much of a long season as you did before. It's a little bit less games, a lot more compressed, because they started the season later than they usually do. And you know what? It's just a lot of stories to talk about. Like Stephen Curry's back. He's looking like he's back. He's back to being the guy you want to watch on League Pass. Stephen Curry, the main man for Golden State, is back, and it looks beautiful to watch, because I love Stephen Curry as much as I love other NBA talent. I like watching other talent. It's not as tribalistic as it is in football, where you wouldn't openly say you love another team's player. In the NBA, you can watch other teams and have an appreciation for those players as much as you do appreciations for your team and your players on your team. Like I still love Kawhi Leonard for what he's done for the Raptors, but I'm just upset that he decided to leave us. To me, I don't know why he ever left us. That's so silly, in my opinion, why he would ever leave, but he left us, and that's something that happened. And I got Samuel coming in. Samuel, what's good, bro?
What's going on, bro? Busy day, big day for the NBA. And then Sunday, week 17 of American sports, big week.
Yeah, big week. And we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. So first thing I want to get into, Sam, since you're here, let's get into the comment section. People talking about NBA. They're like, NBA too? What? And then Celtics all the way. We got some Celtic fans in the house. Jaylen Brown, most improved player. I cannot disagree at all. Jaylen Brown looks like an absolute monster, jumping out the gym against Indiana the other day.
Can we start with one thing today? The Clippers against the Mavs last week. That was pure butchering. Just the knife, ching, ching, ching.
Oh, man. If you guys haven't seen what's been going on in the NBA as of late, you guys need a big reality check, because what's been happening lately, there's been some shocking results from some teams. Some teams have absolutely been horrendous. Some teams have been good. It's been all over the place. And if I'm going to begin anywhere, I'm going to begin with the table. Let's go to the standings. It's only been a couple games, but the league standings has been sick, in my opinion. There has been some changes from every angle. So let's go to the standings. So you can see, first things first, some shocker. It does not look like it's going to look at the end of the season.
Yeah,
that's one thing. My Toronto Raptors my Toronto Raptors are down here after 3 games. It's very bad.
Egal,
Right?
you know what the Raptors should do? Tank.
No. Clippers, even though they lost by 40 to 50 to the Dallas Mavericks, they still have looked good,
Oh,
right?
down by the Wizards. Have they won the game yet?
The Wizards look like the worst team in the NBA. I mean, the worst coach team in the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't know why they are 4-0. They're just not coached well at all. They're not coached well at all. They're probably one of the worst coach teams in the NBA. So the way we're gonna do this, we're gonna be doing this a little bit different. We're gonna go from the main topics. But before we do anything, I just want to go to the rookies. Right, the rookies have looked special this year. The rookies. This draft class was supposed to be a shit draft class. Yo, can you send Kirsten the link? This draft class was supposed to be a very bad draft class, right? But the draft class has looked better than I thought. Some of these players that came in as rookies this year were not supposed to be as special as the rookies from the past years. But Wiseman for Golden State, in my opinion, looks like he could be a really, really good NBA player and up there, possibly an all-star in a couple of years' time, right? Sacramento had drafted a guy that I like. He looks special. To me, there's been more surprises with this draft than I thought. Anthony Edwards looks like a baller. Anthony Edwards in Minnesota, he looks like a baller. I'm not sure if you've been watching these rookies, but bro, some of these rookies are out of this world right now. I'm not getting too excited, but I thought this draft class was supposed to be as bad as Paul Gasol and what's his name?
Was it was it 05? The 05 draft?
Oh, 2000.
Kwame Brown. Was it
Kwame Brown? Yeah, Kwame Brown. It was supposed to be like the Kwame Brown draft, but Anthony Edwards looks like a baller for Minnesota. Wiseman looks like a baller for Golden State. LaMelo Ball. I'm not really liking LaMelo Ball right now. He doesn't look that good to me. He hasn't looked great. He had a good game last night, but he doesn't look great to me yet. Then you got Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams is a good defender. He's a really good defender. He's a really good all-around player.
100%.
He's not developed yet. You can tell that he still has a lot of parts of his game he's missing. Then you go into Killian Hayes, the 7th overall pick to the Detroit Pistons, has been terrible. He's been terrible.
But you could say, who's that? The guy who went to the Bulls. I forgot his name. You know what? The Bulls, I think, if they want to be good, I think they should tank. Just one more year. They can take 1 more year of tanking, can't they? And just for the next 4 years, get the next someone like a D Rose. Because they're never going to get a D Rose because they had, I think, was it 1 ball in the pot for D Rose and they managed to get him. So this is tank. There's no more. The Luck's run out with the draft. So tank if I was a Bulls fan.
Yeah. Now I'm just gonna put up the draft board. Has any rookies impressed you besides the first couple picks?
Who's the guy that went to the 13th pick on the draft? I forgot his. I'm not good memory with this. My memory. Who went to? He was the 13th pick. I remember. I was really impressed with him. I looked at. They showed him on draft night. I forgot his name, Egal.
If you don't have the draft board in front of you, I'm not going to tell you.
You know, I'm pulling it up now. Where did it go? Oh, there you go. 20. Yeah. Where is he?
He's struggling.
Not Killian Hayes has been worse, but Obi Toppin was a pretty decent player. Obi Toppin to the Knicks.
He hasn't played.
No, but in preseason I've seen him. But that's what I'm saying. If he gets a chance at the Bulls, he can.
I am not having any Knicks positivity on this channel at all. He has been horrendous. He has not played a game. He has not done anything of note. You cannot even try to entertain that this guy has been anything of note. In my opinion, you're absolutely waffling, bro. You're my guy, but you're talking ish. You're talking out your ass.
No, but he needs to talk. The Knicks.
You're talking out your ass. You're talking out your ass. Let's stop. Stop. Please stop.
You can be better than RJ Barrett. You can be better than that Canadian RJ Barrett.
Stop. Okay. Now, Anthony Edwards looks like a baller from his first couple games. Wiseman looks like a baller. LaMelo Ball, not yet. The other guys, these guys have not been decent. To me, the guy, when you go down, you have to go far. This guy, Tyrese Halliburton, the 12th overall pick, looks like a better player than everybody else in the draft up until the first two. So after the first 2 picks, Patrick Williams, okay. Isaac Okur, we haven't seen enough of him yet. Killian Hayes, to me, this guy right here is a baller.
Can I just say from the Thunder, yeah, they've got so many picks for next year. So I'm looking forward to see the Thunder just pick those. They got like over so many picks on the Rockets and they've and from the Chris Paul trade from the Suns. They got and next year the Thunder are going to be good like they did in 2016 with Russ and KD. But they won't blow a few on lead this time because they will never get it.
Okay. So now, in my opinion, there is 4 clear candidates for Rookie of the Year. Okay?
Yeah.
As of right now, I have 4 clear candidates. Halliburton from Sacramento, right? Edwards from Minnesota. You got Wiseman, of course, at Golden State, which I think is going to be the Rookie of the Year. In my opinion, he's going to be the clear Rookie of the Year at the end of the season. And then, to me, it's a toss-up between the other 2 right now. The other 2 is LaMelo or Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams has started off decent, but he's not getting enough game time. You know what I mean? He is not getting enough game time. But Samuel, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this part. I think it's just gonna be straightforward. It's not gonna be a conversation. I just think it's straightforward. One guy, no question. Wiseman's gonna be the clear and cut number 1 option for Rookie of the Year. He's the Rookie of the Year candidate for me, and there's just no debate in my opinion. Rookie of the Year candidate. He's going to be the Rookie of the Year. And as of right now, Edwards could still get in there. LaMelo Ball could still get in there. But I think at the end of the season, it's going to be between Edwards and Wiseman to see who's the better guy, who's the guy. And you know what? Let's not talk about Obi Toppin ever again. I'll let that slide. I don't think you watched the actual Knicks games this year. Only Knicks slander.
Because I don't want to see the Knicks. Because I don't want to see them happy. They deserve it.
Let's not talk about the Knicks. The Knicks are the Knicks, right? So I'm gonna do this part now by myself, bro. If you could just jump out, I'm gonna do the breaking down of the games and the teams. So we're gonna break down the teams. First, let's go to the East, right? The Washington Wizards look absolutely horrendous. They look terrible. The reason why they look terrible is because their coach is one of the worst coaches in the NBA. Now, Russell Westbrook is going to constantly get you those triple doubles every single game. Russell Westbrook's constantly going to get you those triple doubles. Bradley Beal's going to get you those buckets, but they're just badly coached. And I think their coach is going to get sacked. Their coach is going to get fired before the season's over, and they're going to need to make changes ASAP in order to improve, right? Then you got the Pistons. The Pistons, they got a situation where they have too many old players that they just don't fit in the team. They need to go fully used. They need to go fully out of the old and in with the new. In my opinion, they got guys like Jeremy Grant, who looks like a baller. Plumlee looks decent. Killian Hayes he's going to take a long time to improve. There's going to be a lot of growing pains with Killian Hayes. So many growing pains is going to be ridiculous, right? And then you also have other guys. They just have so many guys in their team. It's just going to be Josh Jackson has looked decent. He's looked really good, but you know what? His brain, his basketball brain, his IQ is just not there. And they have a lot of people missing out. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Shaquille Bey ends up getting a starting spot at the end of the season, because he looks like some energy. He has a lot of energy, and he's able to get those second chance opportunities, get on the offensive boards, and he puts in work every single time he's on the court. And I like that. Now, moving away from Detroit, going back into the thing, my Toronto Raptors. Oh my God, these guys have pissed me off. We've had close games, okay? We've had close games. Look at our games; they've been close, right? We lost to the Sixers. As much as it looks like they took the lead late, it was a close game. Don't let those scores fool you. San Antonio game was a close game. We were up. We lost it at the end. Pelicans, first game of the season, we were up. We lost it at the end. Every single game was comeback defeats. To me, we've just not been good enough, and that's just what it is. And also, we miss Ibaka and Paul Gasol more than I ever expected. OG has taken a step forward, and he could be a most improved candidate, but Aaron Baines needs to step it up. Alex Len needs to step it up. Norman Powell, you need to step it up. These guys, if they don't step it up, we're just bad. Kyle Lowry is everything good that's going on with the Raptors right now, and Pascal Siakam has not been himself ever since before the bubble. He has never been himself. Right now, the Chicago Bulls have two issues, I would say. Right, they have two major issues. Kobe White is not consistent at all. Kobe White needs to be more consistent so they can get more scoring. In addition to that, I don't see how a lot of their pieces fit. I don't know how a lot of their pieces are going to fit because they have Markkanen, Carter, that works. You got a big that can shoot and you have a big that's inside, right? Kobe White and Zach LaVine, they're too much of the same player for me. Kobe White is not a good enough guard. He hasn't developed his game yet. He needs to get better at creating more chances for other people, getting more opportunities open for other people, becoming a better passer, becoming a better playmaker on the open floor. Because whenever they're working at a pace and it's a high scoring game, they look good. But whenever there's a lot of defense and they need to slow it down and play in a half court set, they can't do that. And that's why Chicago Bulls are struggling at the opening. They beat Golden State. They almost beat Golden State, but Golden State beat them by a buzzer beater at the end of the day. The Wizards game, obviously the Wizards are terrible. They lost to the Pacers. Of course they're going to lose to the Pacers. Pacers are a much better team, and the Atlanta Hawks are a much better team. So obviously the Bulls are still a mess. As much as everyone loves the Bulls, they're still an absolute mess, right? Now, the next, you're going to see the Milwaukee Bucks and the Heat are down here. The reason why they're down here is because the Heat and the Bucks have played a lot of good teams, especially the Bucks. The Bucks have played a lot of good teams. What makes no sense to me is that they lost to some of these teams, though. Losing to the Celtics is no joke. You can lose to Celtics. Blowing out Golden State is amazing, but then losing to the Knicks have looked good this season. Losing to Miami, it makes sense. They had a back-to-back games against Miami, and those games had a playoff feel. I loved it. Miami Heat versus the Bucks, back-to-back games, amazing. I loved it because these games were like playoff games for me when I was watching them. These guys were going at it, and it was beautiful to see. Right now, the thing about the Bucks is Lopez has not played well. Lopez has not had one good game. In addition to Lopez not playing well, Middleton has looked like an absolute beast. Maybe not in this game. Drew Holiday has looked good. DiVincenzo has looked good. Bobby Portis has looked good. Maybe it's time to move Bobby Portis into the starting spot and move Lopez to the bench because Bobby Portis has just looked so good that maybe you got to give him some more shine. Give him more shine in Milwaukee, guys. Now let's get to Miami. Miami have not had Jimmy Butler playing the past couple of games. Jimmy Butler has been, I think he's been injured. I think Jimmy Butler is a big reason why these guys got to the finals last year. He's such a leader on the court. He's such a man on the court. Like he's macho man. Just everybody feeds off his mentality. But after going down with an injury, he still hasn't come back the past couple of games. Hopefully he does come back sooner than later. They're playing Dallas next. They're going to need Jimmy Butler sooner than later. But of course, these two games that they played against the Bucks without Jimmy Butler, you had guys step up like Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero played like an absolute monster. He got a double-double with 15 rebounds, right? You got guys like Avery Bradley stepping up, scoring right into the starting lineup. Goran Dragic still putting up numbers. Duncan Robertson doing what he did Christmas Day. These guys are still ballers, guys. These guys are still absolute ballers. Let's not mistake in them, right? Now, the Knicks, the Hornets, they still have similar mistakes. The Knicks have too many players that absolutely nobody knows what they can produce. And then you have guys like Mitch Robertson, who's never going to be played in the correct position, who's not being played in the right position, who's just constantly messing up, constantly doing mistakes. In my opinion, Julius Randle is their best player right now. But where are they going with this team? Like, this team is a mess. This team right here has Alex Burke, also not in this team right now. Some young rookies. Alfred Payton, who's just absolute dog shit. Every team he's played for, he puts up numbers, but he's just garbage. Like, I don't get why these guys play, right? Now, I'm going to bring these guys in for the next part of it. Let's break down the fun part of the East. Yo, guys.
What's going on?
Let's play out. Let's now look at the fun part of the East. Have you guys watched this? Forget about just before we get to the last team is the Charlotte Hornets. The Charlotte Hornets, to me, they have looked decent with Gordon Hayward looking good. Coder Zeller is injured. The two Martin brothers got into a fight yesterday with what's his name, James Johnson. So let's ignore that. Miles Bridges has looked good recently, and I think they're going to be in and around the 8th seed. I don't think they're going to be a solidified playoff spot, but they're going to be fighting for that playoff spot. Now let's get into the fun of it now. So Eastern Conference top teams. There's 7 teams right now. Celtics is the first one. I'll let you talk about this, Samuel. You're a Celtics guy. Talk about it.
One thing I'll say about the Celtics this season is, it's far too early in the season. There's more to go. Yes, we lost Gordon Hayward, but you know what? The guy, man. Brad Stevens is a coach. We have a lot of faith in him. You know what? I was surprised we beat the Pacers on yesterday, due to the fact that none of our players are ready yet.
Peace out, TBG.
Yeah, none of our players are ready yet. I think last year we made a good run to the finals, but I can't see the Celtics getting to the finals because it's so packed in the East. With Doc of the Sixers, the Nets with KD and Kyrie. There's more. The Heat getting everyone back fully fit, everyone ready.
Kemba's injured. Don't forget, Kemba's injured. Jalen looks like he's taking a step forward. Marcus Smart looks like a baller. Taco Fall is still irrelevant.
I leave Taco alone, man.
Jason Tatum is looking like a baller, like always. To me, if he can turn into a monster, Robert Williams is their future center.
You know what Taco Fall is? He's basically a player just to sell the shirts. He's
irrelevant. He's irrelevant. To me, Jeff Teague is. You need to stop playing Jeff Teague. They have this kid called Pritchard. He's a baller. Peyton Pritchard is an absolute baller. You need to play Peyton Pritchard as a starter while Kemba's out. And if you guys actually have watched the games, you know that Robert Williams has been an absolute baller himself. But yeah, I feel like I need to go to the Nets next. The Nets is the next team. And I'm gonna let you talk about the Nets, Samuel, because I'm gonna leave the Sixers. I'm gonna go back to the Sixers for you, bro, in a second. 1 second. Where are the Sixers? Are they? They're up there. Yeah. Yeah. I was looking down trying to find them, but they're actually better than they thought. So now let's go to the Nets. I'll let you speak for a little bit, Samuel. Talk to me about your Nets.
You know what, KD is surprising me a lot because I thought he was done. The leg injury 2 times in the past couple of years. But you know what? He's proved all the haters wrong, and he's on that MVP form again. He's been tearing up the league. Yes, I know he got dunked on against the Hornets, but that's just one thing. But him and KD and Kyrie, everyone's saying the partnership can't work. The egos are too big. It's been working so far. The loss against the Grizzlies, you can't blame them because KD and Kyrie weren't there. They needed the rest. You can't, you got a load management, Kevin Durant. So we just time by time, once don't overplay Kevin Durant this season. But you know what? He's been balling.
Okay. Now, next, I'm just gonna Samuel. I'm gonna let you go now because I need to get through these quicker. Okay. Thank you, Samuel. Now,
see you soon.
Later, bro. And then next team is who's the next team? Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta Hawks have looked good, bro. I'm just gonna talk about the Hawks. They've looked really good. They have a squad, like they have a really deep team. When I look at their squad, I didn't realize how good they have a squad. They have Trae Young, they have Bogdan Bogdanovic off the bench. They have John Collins, which is a 20-10 guy. Clint Capella, 10-10. Rondo, amazing backup point guard. Delino Gallinari, the Italian cock they call him. What a guy. Then you got Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter.
Onyeka.
Oh my God. And they got Solomon Hill. Looks like he's doing well. Bruno Fernando is shit. Absolutely shit.
Bruno Fernando.
Yeah, he's absolutely garbage. Kevin Huerter, the red ginger.
The way you feel about Bruno Fernando is probably the way I feel about Danny Green. I hate that guy.
Yeah, Bruno Fernando is garbage. Now I like the Atlanta Hawks. The thing about them is they need to realize that John Collins is their second best player because Bogdanovic thinks he's the best player. Huerter thinks he's the best player. Cam Reddish thinks he's the best player.
Cam Reddish ain't no best player.
Delino Gallinari thinks he's the second best player. There's too many guys. There needs to be a pecking order for the Atlanta Hawks.
They need to know their place.
Yeah. So you need to know that Trae Young's the man. John Collins second. Third, you need to have somebody step up. either Herter, Reddish, or DeAndre Hunter. One of those guys need to step up. And then Bogdan Bogdanovic and Danilo Gallinari need to know their role. They're the bench guys, second unit guys to bring on and kill everybody else off. Because second unit, having those guys, they're starters on majority NBA teams. But
Yeah, I know he really hasn't played much. What do you think about Onyeka, man? Do you think he's gonna be able to transition well into the NBA?
You know what? I don't think the fit works. Why when you have John Collins and Clint Capella, do you draft a power forward?
It's true still, but you know, he was on the team with Lonzo, LaMelo, Jello. So he's a good player, but I just don't understand it. I don't understand the reasoning behind getting him, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna let you talk about the Sixers. Talk to me about the Sixers.
I think we've been good this season. You know, we lost the game to the Cavs. The Cavs have been good this season. I think Embiid's really come into a bit of form. Obviously Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons. He gives you what he gives you. I hate Danny Green with a passion. Seth Curry's look decent. Dwight Howard he's all right. Tobias Harris, we know what you're gonna get from him. I think the rookie, Tyrese Maxey, with more minutes, I think he'll come good with more minutes, but is what it is. Shake Milton in the playoffs last year, he really, really disappointed me. But this season he's been all right. It's all you can say, really. I don't think we've been amazing, but
why on earth does Thibault not get a chance?
bruv, they're just using him for flipping YouTube videos and Instagram posts. They just, I don't know why Doc doesn't like him, but I can't really give you an answer to that. Doc just doesn't like him, I guess.
Okay. Anyways, yo, Kirsten, hold it down, bro. I need
man.
to get through these quick. So now, moving on to the next team, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on to the next team, we have ourselves the Indiana Pacers. The Indiana Pacers are a really good team. I think they're definitely a top 5 team in the NBA. And with Sabonis, Miles Turner, T.J. Warren, Brogdon, and Victor Oladipo, they have probably one of the best starting fives in the NBA. Then when you go to their bench is good too. As much as this guy looks like an evil villain from Bonds, he is a good player. Gogo Badensa is a good backup center, right? You have guys all throughout their team that can ball. You got the 2 Holiday brothers. It's a holiday. Those guys are good. TJ McConnell is a good assist. Lamb is a good point scorer. He's a good scorer. And then they got themselves some young players to balance out the squad. They played well during starting off, obviously. They've won majority of their games. Obviously, they lost their preseason games, but that's it, really. They haven't lost a game since. And the Celtics, of course. That Celtics game was crazy. And Sabonis won so far. He was the Eastern Conference player of the week for week 1. Well deserved. Miles Turner getting blocks after blocks after blocks. Absolute monster. Big up to these guys. Big up to the Pacers. They've done well for themselves. They look like they're gonna have a good season. Hopefully they can stay healthy, because Sabonis to me is an absolute superstar. Now, what the hell is going on in Cleveland? Can we take this serious? They've won their first 3 out of their first 4. They've won. Are Cleveland for real? A team with Kevin Love, Kevin Porter, Sexton, Andre Drummond, JaVale McGee, Chetty Osman, Darius Garland, Larry Nance, obviously Matthew Dellavedova, Dante Exum, Thornmaker. Can we take these guys serious? In my opinion, Sexton has taken a leap forward. Sexton's looking like what we want De'Aaron Fox to look like over in Sacramento. He's scoring at will, doing everything. He's looking like an absolute baller. Darius Garland is looking good too. Larry Nance makes no sense why the Lakers let go of him. This guy is an absolute stud, right? JaVale McGee is good backup. Obviously, Kevin Love is injured. Isaac Okoro has come in. He hasn't done much yet. In my opinion, these guys are not the real deal. You can't based on their first couple performances that they are the real deal. Look at who they've played. They faced the Hornets, they faced the Pistons, they faced the Sixers, they faced the Knicks. So out of their first 4 games, they faced lesser competition. So we can't really say, oh, they've won 3 of their first 4, they're amazing. No, not really. Orlando Magic, same thing. Orlando Magic have faced Washington twice, easy wins. They faced Miami, which was shocking that they beat Miami, right? And they faced the Thunder. So they have not faced the best competition. And their team is not that great either. They got Markelle Fultz, Aaron Vukovic, Isaac, who's injured, for Evan Fournier, who looks good, Terrence Ross, who looks good, and then the rest of the team I don't really rate. So Dwayne Bacon is useless. So to me, they're only there because of their schedule. Their schedule has been good. Now let's go to the West. On to the Western Conference, ladies and gentlemen. On to the West. Now, the Western Conference, we got Houston. Houston have had COVID fears and all that stuff, so they've only really played 2 games. So that's why they're near the bottom. And they've won 1, they've lost 1. James Harden looked like an absolute beast against the Blazers. If you see this right here, he had 44 and 17 assists. Absolute monster. He still has John Wall supposed to come back. He still has Eric Gordon supposed to come back. He still has DeMarcus Cousins to come back into this team. So they are going to be in and amongst the other teams in the West. There's no need to fear. This team is still really, really good. There is no reason for them to be at the bottom of the West. The Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies have suffered a big blow. 4 to 6 weeks, Ja Morant will be injured. 4 to 6 weeks, Ja Morant will be injured. With Ja Morant out, I don't rate the rest of the team enough for them to carry themselves. Defensively, first of all, they don't have a good enough team without Jarrett Jackson and Ja Morant on the court. So they're going to struggle. Kyle Anderson has looked like an absolute stud recently. JV has looked good, and Dylan Brooks have looked good. But they don't have enough to carry themselves defensively and offensively in these games with those 3 weeks of injuries. Now, the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are a playoff team. They are an absolute good team. And Michael Porter Jr. is the key to this team. Michael Porter Jr. can take a step forward to get into that bracket of almost becoming like the next like Paul George type player, then that would be great because that's the mold. Physically, he's there. He has the body. He has the opportunity, and now he just needs to take it. To me, Gary Harris is done. Paul Millsap is done. Some of these guys in their team, their legs are shot. They lost Plumlee and Jeremy Grant, who were clear parts of their team last year. They also lost Mikal Beasley, who was another big part of their team last year. Why is it on JaMychal Green? Okay, sorry about that, guys. I don't know why it zoomed into JaMychal Green. But then, yeah. So to me, the Denver Nuggets are a problem. The Denver Nuggets are a problem. They have a really good team. Jokic is a stud. No matter what anybody says, Jokic is always going to be a big part of that team, putting in work week in, week out. I'm having a nightmare with this shit right now. Sorry. Jokic is a really good player. Yes, you're right, Damian. Jokic is really good. Jokic has been averaging almost a triple-double since the season began also. So he is going to be doing good stuff for them all season. And I just feel like you guys can't underestimate how good this team is. As much as we don't talk about the players who how we can't look at the record because this is not football where it's like 3 games in, you can look at the record and be like, oh, we kind of have a grasp of who these teams are. We don't know who the Denver Nuggets are yet because they faced some good teams and they've lost some games. They're 1-3. The Dallas Mavericks now. The Dallas Mavericks destroyed the Clippers by 50 points and have lost every other game. So they lost to the Suns, they lost to the Lakers, they destroyed the Clippers by 50 points, and they lost to the Hornets. So to me, I still don't know what these guys are. Luka Doncic was supposed to be an MVP candidate. As of right now, doesn't look like one until his team around him picks it up. When you really look at this team, it's Luka Doncic, Porzingis, Maxi Kleber, Josh Richardson, and that's it. Tim Hardaway is not doing really well. They lost Seth Curry. They lost a lot of scoring and shooting ability. They don't have the depth in the team. This team looks really weak to me. They're definitely going to be a playoff team because of Luka and Porzingis, but they need them back sooner than later. Now the Thunder. The Thunder are another team rebuilding, young team, a lot of young heads. To me, this team, it needs to go young, just go all the way young. Keep Darius Bazley in the starting lineup. Eventually, you're gonna move George Hill out of the lineup and bring in one of the young guys like Theo or somebody else in that starting spot, right? And then you stop playing Mike Muscala. Just stop playing him. Just stop playing him. We know who he is. He's not a young player. Just stop playing him, giving him time. Al Horford, move him on. Get rid of him. Give Darius Baisley the team. Keep the team with Shea and Luke Dort looks amazing. Dort looks absolutely like a stud. I love Dort right now. So that team, that's Thunder. They've only played 3 games. They've lost 2, won 1. Big up to them. To me, the Blazers look broken. Something's wrong with the Blazers. Damian Lillard has not played well 1 game yet this season. I think the Rockets game he did well. Am I mistaken? He did decent that game? No, even that game, that's the 1 game he did well. He scored 32 points in that 1 game. But besides that 1 game, the rest of the games he hasn't played that well. Damian Lillard has looked poor. He's looked like a shell of himself. But the thing is, and Yusuf Nurkic has looked like a shell of himself too. The person who's been carrying this team has been J.C. McCollum. C.J. McCollum has looked like the best player on the team. He's been outperforming Damian Lillard. He's been carrying the team offensively. He's been getting all the buckets, crucial buckets. Damian does not look like himself right now. Something's wrong with him. He just doesn't look good. Something's wrong with Damian Lillard right now. Now going to Golden State. Steph Curry's back, baby. Steph Curry is back. Steph Curry is back. Steph Curry is back. Steph Curry is back. The NBA love to see it. They got a game winner against the Bulls. They lost to the Nets and the Bucks. They even got a close win yesterday against the Pistons. To me, the thing about them is they don't have enough defensive cover with Clay and Draymond out. They don't have enough defensive cover against other wings, and that's the problem. They don't have enough defenders on the court to guard those wing players. Kelly Oubre is not the best defender. Curry's not the best defender, and Andrew Wiggins is not the best defender. So that's why they are in the situation they're in. Spurs. LaMarcus Aldridge looks behind. LaMarcus Aldridge looks like a shell of himself. He does not look like the player he used to be. To me, Kendall Johnson, Lonnie Walker, DeMar DeRozan have been carrying this team this year so far. They've looked decent. Also, Derek White is injured. Derek White is a crucial part. They signed him to a big contract. He's a big part of their team. And you know what? Big up to them for winning a couple of their first couple games, even though they have not looked impressive at all. Now, going to the Pelicans. The Pelicans, I don't get this team. I don't get this team. They look like a good team. They have a lot of good players. Zion, Lonzo Ball, Ingram, Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, JJ Redick. But they just don't look like, they don't, when you're watching them, they're not aesthetically pleasing. They don't look like they have the cohesion from the team. They don't look like players suit each other's playing styles. Like, I don't get how Zion works with Alonzo Ball. I get that, actually, like, assist-wise, Lonzo Ball can get him a lot of assists, but Ingram and Zion clash a little bit. You have inside game, outside game, but it's almost like Zion needs to be given the ball in space, and everyone else needs to be shooters off of him, where Ingram needs the ball also. Ingram's more of a Kevin Durant type player. He can just take over a game instantly, and they need to figure out a hierarchy in this team too, because if you have a lot of people who think they're the man, you're going to have problems. Like, to me, Eric Bledsoe's done. Like, they need to trade him, get him out of the team, move him on for somebody, get somebody else in who can mesh this all together. Maybe get another shooter in. JJ, he's just a shooter at this point. Josh Hart, bench option. Their team is not really that deep. It's literally 4 players at best, 4 or 5 pieces. They're going to struggle to make the playoffs, but that's the Pelicans for you. Now, the Lakers. Let's go on to the Lakers. Let's talk about the Lakers. Los Angeles Lakers, the NBA champs. LeBron James just turned 36. Happy birthday to LeBron James. Happy New Year's to everybody also. LeBron James still looks like a beast. Still looks like one of the best players in the NBA. The Lakers got better. Let's not lie to ourselves. The Lakers got better. They won the championship last year. They got better. They took out Rondo, got Dennis Schroeder in. That's an upgrade. They got rid of JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, and they brought in Montrezl Harrell and Marc Gasol. They got better. They just look like a better team. They absolutely have improved in every single category, offensively, defensively, in so many different ways. And you can tell when Anthony Davis misses a game, Marc Gasol puts up numbers. When Anthony Davis is not playing, Montrezl Harrell puts up numbers. They have so many options on the wing now as players. even before, like they just had KCP and what's his name, Danny Green. Now they got KCP and Wesley Matthews. They just find and replace. Alfonso McKinney's still there. Alfonso McKinney's there also now. So they just have a lot of options. LeBron James still getting himself close to triple doubles every day. Kyle Kuzma does not look like a great player to me. He just average. But yeah, and their schedule, if you look at the games they played, from the first game they played against the Clippers, when they lost, they destroyed the Mavericks, they destroyed the Timberwolves, they lost to the Blazers in a close game, and people thought it was a talking point. But then yesterday, they destroyed the San Antonio Spurs, and they're going to face them tonight. Let's see if they can beat them again, right? So to me, the Lakers are still up there, contenders, definitely favorites to come out the West. And yeah, now going to Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz look like a really good team. Utah Jazz have a lot of depth. Like we've looked at a lot of these other teams. Utah Jazz are no joke. One of the best defensive teams in the NBA, one of the best defensive teams, one of the best defensive teams in the West. Rudy Gobert is one of the best defensive players in the league. Donovan Mitchell needs to take a leap forward to make them a better team, obviously. Jordan Clarkson's a good player off the bench. Mike Conley looks like he's close to being back. Shaq Harrison's from Chicago is there. They don't have the best depth, but defensively they've looked like a decent team. They've been shutting teams out, not letting them score too much points, doing well defensively. And to me, as long as they can do that, continue with the good defense and keep winning games, they could win games just based on their defense alone. And don't forget, Donovan Mitchell at some point will need to make that step to get better and take that step forward, in my opinion. Right now, moving on to the next team, the last couple teams, we got Sacramento Kings. Sacramento Kings. Can I just talk about this guy 1 second? Let's just talk about this guy. Where is he? Let's talk about Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton looks like he could, sooner than later, be fighting De'Aaron Fox for that #1 spot. I'm not saying he's going to take it today. I'm not saying he's going to take it tomorrow. I'm not saying he's going to take it next month. I'm saying De'Aaron Fox needs to watch out, because if this kid gets his scoring up, it's not even a competition. Defensively, he's a much better player. Overall, he's a much better player. De'Aaron Fox has looked better, and they've lit a fire underneath him to make him play better. But to me, this guy is a stud. He's an absolute stud. Now, Hassan Whiteside, Richaun Holmes, Marvin Bagley, they have a lot of big men, so they're covered there. Even Nemanja Bjelica, Jabari Parker as a scoring option, Harrison Barnes as a scoring option, Buddy Hield as a scoring option. This team has enough to make the playoffs in the West, in my opinion. They have enough to make the playoffs in the West. Definitely a playoff option. Now you got the Suns. The Suns. Okay, the Suns to me still look like a team that's bottom of the West. I don't think they're going to be top. They're definitely not going to be a top 5 team in the West. Yes, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton's good. Mikal Bridges, if he takes the leap, you need Mikal Bridges to take a big step forward in order for you guys to be in that category for me. I can't just put you guys in there right away. You need that big step forward, in my opinion, before I can do that. But yeah, I like this team. I think I need more aggressiveness from DeAndre Ayton, though. DeAndre Ayton, we expect 20 and 10 from you. If he can start giving 20 and 10 and Mikal Bridges can give 15 a game, then they definitely have an opportunity to make the Western Conference playoffs, but they're not going to get far in the West. Now, the Clippers are the #1 team in the West, even after losing by 50 points. The Clippers, to me, have a big problem. When Kawhi Leonard doesn't play, they don't have an identity or a style of basketball that they play that you can take a player out and they still play the same way. It's almost like everything falls apart the moment Kawhi isn't playing. Like Paul George is a good player, but without Kawhi Leonard there, they don't have – Kawhi Leonard is literally half of their team. The other half is everybody else. I know it's so silly to say, but they need to improve on many different levels. They need to improve on many different levels before they can even say they're going to be NBA playoff contenders. They're only as good as their best players, and right now Kawhi Leonard is going to miss a lot of games, so there could be, say, 10 to 15 games a season where they're going to need to figure this out. And Kawhi Leonard is not going to resign if they don't sort this shit out. These guys need to sort themselves out. They need to sort out a lot of things over there. But yeah, that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. That's enough of that. That's enough of that. And you know what? Big up to everybody watching. Big up to everybody watching. I think what's going to happen is the NBA is going to be the Rookie of the Year candidate is going to be Wiseman. When you got Most Improved, it's going to be Jason Tatum. No, Jaylen Brown is going to be Most Improved. My bad. Jaylen Brown is going to be Most Improved. The Defensive Player of the Year is probably going to go to like a Rudy Gobert or an Anthony Davis, right? Depending on who's there at the end of the season. And then Sixth Man of the Year, it's still too early for me to predict Sixth Man of the Year. But yeah, I just think this is going to be that kind of season. And I just wanted to do a quick breakdown of the season, what you guys thought so far. I hope you guys enjoy the content. Big up to you guys watching. Big up to Bits and Bobs in the comment section. Big up to everybody watching. And yeah, that's the NBA for me. And you know what? Let's keep it moving, guys. This is EGTV, and this is we talking back.